Okay, so like I said in the last part, we're going to come down to here, and what we're basically going to be doing is we're going to be comparing, or rather checking this login OK variable to determine whether the login was successful or not. And obviously we're using an if statement, so I'm going to say if login OK equals, because remember we're making a comparison, equals true, then we can execute, forgot the start of the block, execute a block of code here. Otherwise we're going to say else die incorrect username password combination. Okay, so if this makes sense, we're going to say if the MD5 encrypted password equals the already encrypted password in the database, i.e. does it match, then the login OK variable is true, otherwise the login OK variable is false. And then we're coming down and saying if the login OK is true, so if it has been set to true, therefore this would be true, then we can execute a block of code. This just makes it a lot easier and a lot neater to work with. Okay, now we need to bring up yet another if statement, and this is going to be if remember me, which remember if we scroll up is the posted checkbox value. If remember me equals on, remember I said that the value returned is going to be on, then we're going to set a cookie. So what I'm going to do for now is just put the function there blank of anything, and then down here I'm going to say else if remember me equals nothing. So if it is equal to nothing, like I said in I think in the second part of the tutorial, if the remember me, or the checkbox rather called remember me, has not been selected, it just returns a blank value. Then we're going to set a cookie, so set a session variable, and that's going to be equal to something. What we'll do is we'll work with the session first. We're going to call this session username. Again, if you're not sure about sessions, I do have a tutorial on it that pretty much explains them out. This is going to be equal to username, so the session username is going to be equal to the value of the username that they've typed in. So we can refer to the username later on if you're building sort of like a website through this. And later on in the tutorials, in this tutorial we're going to be referring to the username session. We've called it username. This is for things like the isSet function. So we can say stuff like isSet session username, and that means are they logged in? Has this line here been processed and this been set? Now you might have noticed that I've done a mistake here. Luckily I've spotted it. I've done a comparison operator. I need to assign. This is an assignment operator, which is a single equals. So we're assigning the session value, or the session session value is username now. And we're going to set a cookie if the remember me equals on. So this cookie is going to be called username. That's the first parameter that we're bringing up. The second parameter is the value. So this would be a value. It can be a string value, an integer value, whatever you like. But obviously we're going to be using username. So this and this are completely identical now, apart from the fact that this is a session and this is a cookie. So a cookie doesn't expire until a certain time, and a session expires when the user's browser is closed. So we're going to set the expiration time, and this is going to be time, so the current time, but then we're going to add on 7,200 seconds, which is 48 hours. You can use like a Google converter, or obviously your own mathematical like a calculator or something to calculate the amount of days you want this set. You might only choose to have 24 hours, so you just halve this value. But yeah, this basically sets whatever you set this to, it expires after that specific time. And obviously this is the time at the moment, so this is in the future. Okay, so we've set the cookie now and set the session depending. Now the only problem we've got is with sessions, we always need to use the session start function at the top of a page, and what's better to use at the top of a page is our functions.php. So I'm going to come into functions.php, I'm going to just comment this out, and I'm going to say session start, and that's basically going to start our session. So this command will actually work. Without this here, this command won't work and won't store this value inside this session variable. Oh, okay. Okay then, so the next thing to do is to redirect the user once they have successfully logged in. Remember, you need to do this within this if login equals true block. Otherwise, outside we're going to redirect them even if they haven't entered the correct credentials. So we're going to use the header command, and we're going to set the location to user area.php, so it redirects them straight to the user area page here that I've created. And then underneath this we're going to say exit. The reason I do say we're going to use this command is, like I mentioned before, some browsers are modified not to take into account header information and header redirects. So this exit script will ensure that the user definitely can't proceed through this script if they have disabled headers one way or another, or header redirects. Okay, so this pretty much should work now. Let's go in and test it. I'm just going to refresh this page. Okay, so I'm going to type Alex, and I'm going to type a completely wrong password and click login. Okay, and we've got an error message, incorrect username password combination. I'm ignoring the remember me part from now because we're going to test this a bit later on. Now I'm going to type the my actual password. It's 123. Remember, when we press the login button, this is going to be encrypted to MD5, which will look something like that. And then the MD5, this which is encrypted to MD5 is going to be converted to this MD5 hash, which is already encrypted. So we're comparing the same value, and then it should say, well, that's equal. That must be the same password. So proceed with the login. So now I click login, and I am redirected obviously to nothing at the moment. But you can see up in my address bar, we have been redirected to user area.php. Now, we don't actually know whether the cookie or session have been set successfully yet, and that's what we're going to do in the next part of the tutorial. We're going to use this user area to check whether the user has been logged in via cookies or via a session. So check out the next part and you'll learn how to do that.